Greetings and welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. I have not gotten my tablet set up yet to monitor comments over on Matrix. Let me go ahead and work on that. I was working on a few other things there, so let me go ahead and get signed on over there. Turn on the... Oh, internet's already turned... Oh, boy. Apparently, I completely forgot to turn off the internet and something went goofy. Here's a problem with Graphene OS, is I can set Graphene OS to not try and update unless it's specifically plugged in, and it still goes through and does it. So I literally just charged the tablet a couple days ago, and it's already at 30% again. And I don't think there's anything actually running. So it was actually on the internet trying to download and update and all this other crap software after I explicitly told it not to. So Graphene really needs to fix that setting, because I had a completely full tablet the other day and now it's at 30% only like 3 days later. Now, granted, 3 days is not bad for something like this. But anyway, let's go ahead and do that. Let me also... we got into a late start, so I didn't get all my lights turned on yet. Better do that real quick. And if I can find those new ones. Hello, where are you? There we are. Let me get one more light turned on here. All right. The duct tape production has commenced. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the new time, the new day, the new everything else. And yeah, we will eventually change the wrap around background. Oh, look at that fat gut, man. I saw that fat gut on the monitoring. Whew, sorry you guys had to see that. Anyway, let me go ahead and have a look at what we got here. Nothing on there. And all right, one cool, exciting thing. I did get my Only key in today. So this is what I decided to use to test out the passkey password manager type stuff on the virtual system. The serious upgrade to my old FIDO1 standard key. And so we'll have a couple of videos out towards that. If you do want to buy one of those, I saw these, the cases for it that you could buy for just a couple bucks. Let me get one out here. So I bought a nice red case because all the pictures I saw of these was literally all just the key itself. It actually comes with a black case. If I knew it came with a black case, I wouldn't bother. I just wanted to have a case on it. So be aware of that. If you are looking at one of those, it will come with a black case there. It's also hotter than the surface of the sun in here right now. So that's exciting. So I keep that paper towel there handy. And there is what we have going on. Of course, if you are new to the new format of the news, we are not starting with comments yet. In fact, I didn't even pull the comments out yet. But we will be going right on into our news segments here. And as we do that, we will have I think we have three main sections today. And then we have, we'll do a 5-minute comment break. And then we will come back and do Quicklines, SillyVille, Feed the Beasts. And then we will wrap up with as many more comments as we need. So let me start by making sure I'm on the right subscreen. And with that, we are going to go ahead and dive in with our promotion spot first. And rather than promoting one of my particular items, I did want to highlight once again Louis Rossman's Consumer Action Task Force. This is an excellent site and service allowing you, basically he's documenting a lot of the various abuses. So if you want to look up some service, you might come over here to the Consumer Action Task Force, which is wiki.rossmangroup.com. And you can search for the individual service or company or whatever else up here. And I wanted to show this because the last section really talks about some of the dangers of these lifetime subscriptions. And then we had to chuckle with one of the ones that's coming down the pipeline. So rather than promoting something of mine, I did want to highlight once again the Consumer Action Task Force. Of course, if you do want to support this channel, we do have a Patreon page and a locals page, switchedtolinux.locals.com or patreon.com/TOMM. You can jump on over there and help support the channel on those. Of course, if you are a supporter over there, you can go ahead and join us on our Wednesday now off-air hangout, and we might add some more stuff to that down the road. And with that, let's go ahead and get on into the news. And the first up is, as our feature headline, the government is totally backwards on everything technology. I will preface this by saying I try not to get overly political, but in our current supercharged environment, if you simply say something political at all, people just like, oh my God. And sometimes you just cannot help it if you're talking honestly. So it is not a big secret that I generally lean right on most topics. I generally lean vote Republican, not because I'm a Republican. I kind of do this when I vote for Republican. But I've given the Democratic Party a good several years, and every single one of them stands on platforms that are completely antithetical to my moral compass. And so I tend to vote right. Now, that being said, the one area, and I've been over and over again said this, the one area I completely disagree with the right on is technology. They are completely stupid when it comes to it. Now, no, I'm not, you see, you voted that Trump in and this is what you get. No, because to fix some of these other issues, we have to deal with a safe country, and we are getting like dangerous criminals out of here. We are returning to sanity and biological and scientific definitions of, the age-old ancient thing. Before we could speak in complete sentences, we knew what a man and a woman is, for crying out loud. We are back to that, okay? And I understand that. And I will take the issues that they have, being as that most of them, if you follow my privacy advice, won't affect you a lot anyway. But this is a glaring issue that the right has. They are incompetent baboons when it comes to manage anything technology. And there is a spattering of articles which led me to this. Actually, I threw out one of them too. I threw out the FTC postpones the click to cancel ruling. I think we've talked about it recently, and it was just like, okay, it was already getting long. I had like 10 articles in as part as it is. So I wanted to go ahead and keep it as concise as possible. The first is the Kids Online Safety Act is back with the potential to change the internet. This is, of course, they want to keep all of the children safe on the internet. Now, I disagree with this ruling for different reasons than my cohorts in trying to cancel this nonsense. I will say that. The Kids Online Safety Act, this is an update to COPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And the purpose of this, and the big challenge with it, is it's too vague, especially in our world where simply calling somebody by the gender you perceive they are based upon all of the context clues around you is considered offensive and hate speech. So in that world, we do not need a bill that can be weaponized because of its vagueness. And that really is the problem. The issue is that the bill is designed to protect kids from seeing things they shouldn't see on the internet. I got news for you, parents. Your kids shouldn't be on the internet alone. Okay? The internet is like, it is like a pew-pew. It is like some dangerous weapon. It is something a child should not have unfettered access to. And if we all got that direction right, then we'd be fine. Now, here is the only, and I don't like necessarily bring up a problem without thinking of some form of solution. And this is a hard one, because the reality is it is up to the parents to protect their kids. What happens when they don't? Here is a simple way we could solve this. If your child commits a crime based on something they've seen on the internet, I think the parent should be partly culpable for what they did, up to a reason. Call that 13, call that 15. I would probably say up to 16 years old. Up to 16 years old, if you are a child and you see something on the internet that causes you to go out and do something stupid that hurts either yourself or somebody else, I think your parent should be liable for a portion of what you did. That's my simple solution. Let's get into what everybody else is saying about this. And there's probably problems with that too, but I'm just trying to provide something for, if I want to bash this, I want to provide some form of thought. All right, so the human rights groups like the ACLU raised concerns that the bill could be weaponized as a tool for censorship and surveillance. This is true because part of it would say you need to know who is a kid on the internet. Well, there's really only one good way to do that. And the only real good way to do that is to check everybody's ID at the door. Okay. As far as censorship, because it's so vague and basically is something, it basically is like it shouldn't cause something that causes them discomfort or something like that, it's too vague. We understand that. So I agree with that premise. EFF and Fight for Future remained against the bill. The duty of care is about speech. It's about blocking speech that the government behaves as bad for kids. All right, this is kind of where I'm going to disagree a little bit with the EFF. So this is actually their latest article on it. They've, of course, done a number of them. This was done January 1st, 2025, shortly after some revisions to the bill. The Senate passed the bill. The House did not pass the bill. They are bringing it back up for another vote. Here's another fun thing we should do. If a bill is voted out, it should be completely tabled for like 10 years or 20 years or something like that. Clearly, this generation doesn't want it. All right. But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. Legislation which would chill protected speech and almost certainly put privacy invasive age verifications for many users to access social media sites did not pass the House this year, thanks to strong opposition. So I agree with them on this point. We should not have to limit our reasonable, and I'll use the word reasonable speech. We now have to decide what is reasonable. So the issue here is that they want to be able to verify your age, but they also want to be able to stop some form of speech. And the reality is the internet's not made for kids. Kids shouldn't be on it. But I don't think we should have the internet itself should not be the gatekeeper. The parent should be the gatekeeper, and the parent should be held liable when something goes wrong. That is what I think should happen. Now, a bill would allow the FTC to sue apps and websites that do not take measures to restrict young people's access to certain content. And no matter which version of the bill becomes final, it will lead to broad online censorship of lawful speech, including content designated to help children navigate and overcome the same harms it identifies. And this is where I disagree with the EFF. I do not like the EFF is trying to fight this to say those kids should have access to everything on the internet. And I disagree. Children are still impressionable. Children cannot make the solid distinctions between what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. Children can be lured in by disgusting perverts who need to be, targets and firing squads, things like this. Okay. The challenge we have here is that ultimately it's up to the parents to gatekeep what their kids see. It is not up to the internet to gatekeep what the kids see. The EFF takes it from the approach to say these kids should be able to see everything on the internet. And I disagree. Okay, kids should not be able to see everything on the internet because there's some things that are not age appropriate. Okay, I grew up in a dysfunctional home. We watched every horror movie. I've never seen the original Snow White or most of the other Disney movies, but I saw every Friday the 13th, every Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched all sorts of movies. There's really only one movie that really got to me as a kid, and that was the movie The Fly. Okay, The Fly. That is the only movie that ever scared the bejeebers out of me, and I got news for you. I should not have watched that movie when I was 6 years old. Okay, but it's up to my parents to prevent me from watching that movie when I was 6 years old. Okay, so, and they probably bore the consequence of me watching that movie, but, when I was 6 years old. And the point of all this happens to be that as we're looking at all of these factors here, EFF wants every kid to be able to see everything on the internet at all times. And I do not think that's appropriate. I think that we need to have an online that is there for adults. If we want to have very, very specific, very, very exclusive places for kids, I'm okay with that. But saying Facebook should be regulated for children, and YouTube should be regulated for children, and CNN should be regulated for children, I'm sorry, we just cannot have a functional society if that is the case. And that's why I disagree with them. We can go through all the rest of these, but I'm not going to. A lot of it's just talking about, there's one in there, I'm 15 years old and I learned more about myself from things on the internet. Yeah, and you're probably also seeing psychologists, and you're probably mentally ill as well. That made my point made extreme. If the kid was kept off of the internet, he would have been a whole lot better. All right. But nevertheless, they're bringing this bill back. Hopefully it fails again. As of right now, Microsoft, Snap, and X all support it. Of course, Microsoft does. Everything that they're doing is trying to have a knowledgeable, authenticated user on every aspect their system does. No surprise there. Curiously, Google and Meta are opposed to the bill. Apple just announced it will support the legislation. So they are completely backwards on this Kids Online Safety Act. It's completely screwed up. But wait, there's more. Now they scrapped the plan to block data brokers from selling American sensitive data. The one law I really want in this country is to tell every one of these data brokers, if you do not have a specific reason for having this content, you should not have access to it. Now, what this deals with is back in December of 2024. Back then, a rule was put forth from the CFBP, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This is probably the only bureau that's really done a lot of really good work over the years. The Bureau directly helped me when I was trying to get out of a house, back in the Obama market crash, and I lost my job and I had to look at short selling a house, and the mortgage company was trying to jerk me around. Despite this, the actual CFPB stepped in and told the mortgage company, you have to accept a short sale in this situation. And they're like, you're going to do it or you're going to start losing employees and we're going to start investigating you. And so they backed off and allowed a short sale, which was totally awesome. And so that was actually a pretty cool thing. And so this bureau here proposed a new rule, this is back in December, that would block data brokers from selling personal data and financial information on Americans, including social security numbers, phone numbers, and things under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. In other words, all of those backdoor data brokers constantly buying and selling our data, they would now be regulated under the FCRA instead of just being carte blanche, do whatever you want. There's some relevant parts in the FCRA that are important. So information in a consumer report cannot be provided to anyone who does not have a purpose specified in the act. So it's extremely limited what you can do with data if you are regulated under this law. And the users of information for credit, insurance, and employment purposes must notify the consumer when adverse action is taken on basis of such reports. And this is important because some people who are losing their jobs or not getting hired for jobs, it's because they're buying data on people from not these somebody involved in the financial institution, but they're just buying a bunch of data to see how they de-anonymize you from the internet, which is not complicated to do. Right now, there's no regulation that says they can't do that. This is the ruling that was supposed to stop that. So the U.S. Consumer Protection Agency said it aims to rein in the data brokers who sidestep the federal law by claiming they are not subject to FCRA's legal protections. The move to close regulatory loophole at the federal level comes at a time when data brokers face increasing scrutiny for profiteering from selling access and sometimes losing vast amounts of Americans' personal knowledge. Personal information. The rule would limit data brokers from selling information who can identify individuals such as social security numbers, phone numbers, which would be covered under the FCRA going forward. And they said the proposed rule is a major step towards ensuring that companies trafficking in Americans' most sensitive information face real consequences for violating longstanding law and for putting people in our country at risk. And the current White House just this week said, no, we're not going to do that either. Can't inhibit the business. I mean, come on. Senior Trump administration official has scrapped the plan that would have blocked data brokers from selling America's personal and financial information, including social security numbers. The rule would have treated data brokers no differently than any other company covered under federal law and would be required to comply with the privacy rules. They say that this is not aligned with the Bureau's current interpretation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Data brokers, of course, are part of a multi-billion-dollar industry. All you have the word shadow industry. Nobody knows who these people are. Of companies that profit from collecting and selling vast amounts of Americans' personal and financial information. The personal data is then sold to other companies as well as law enforcement and intelligence agencies, often without explicit permission. I've said many times, guys, I know I'm not trying to turn this into a religious discussion. I have a channel for that. But I got news for you. The people on the right are going to make the technology that will be used in the beast technology end of the world, but it's going to be people on the left that actually use it against the people. That's what's going to happen. So both of them are evil. Google. Just so I'm not unclear here. Financial Technology Association, which is an industry lobbying group represented by non-bank fintech companies, they wrote Vote, who is the acting chair of this, claiming that this rule would be harmful to financial institutions' efforts to detect and prevent fraud. And let me tell you why this is important. Of course, I recently changed my credit card processing from my business because I was still using PayPal over there, and I just everything blowing up around me this winter, and then all of a sudden PayPal locks me out of the account for like the third time in 2 months. And so I got so sick of it. I found another company, signed up with them, and overall I really like them. I have one client of mine who actually follows a lot of the privacy stuff that I teach. So he does interesting things, like he'll change his phone number every year. He'll rotate emails. He actually calls his company once a year and says he lost his credit card, just so they would reissue a new credit card number. A lot of really things that kind of basically resets him on the data line, which is really interesting stuff. Well, he paid a bill, and then the next month he changed the phone number attached to the card, and something didn't match right in the phone numbers or the zip, or something didn't match right. And so they flagged it as fraud. Why? Because they were buying third-party data that didn't line up with the data he gave, because he had just changed the data. And so that is the type of stuff we're talking about. This is kind of creepy, and that is completely backwards to get rid of that ruling. But wait, there's more. Of course, we've talked in length about the DOJ antitrust case with Google, which for the most part I generally disagree with, because nobody is locked into their search engine. They simply use the search engine that they use because they want to use the search engine that they're using. That is all there is to it. And like the entire basis, the only place I agree with them is that when you are on Google, Google always ranks its own services higher than anybody else's services on the search engine. I think that is a problem. But as far as kicking off search and kicking off Chrome and all this kind of stuff, these are not solutions. These all cause problems. They cause greater problems. Like it's going to threaten Firefox, of course, which would make the Chromium browser almost a total. They will literally create a monopoly in their efforts to break up Google's monopoly, which is totally hilarious. But it gets worse. Look at their new proposal. Their new proposal is for Google to share search data with competitors. That is sharing your personal information that Google knows about you with Google competitors. I'm glad I don't use Google. Stating the resolution would include sufficient privacy safeguards. Don't worry, we're going to force them to do it privately. Who are these going to be, these competitors? They're going to be cheap fly-by-night guys that are jumping in to seize the opportunity, and they are all going to be scammers. Google is going to be forced to hand over our private data to a bunch of scammers because the DOJ is completely full of a bunch of retards. It's insane. They must share targeted portions of its search index, user, and ads data with certain competitors for a limited period of time, which is about 10 years. This will effectively pry open competition to a market that has been closed by defendants' illegal restraints. No, it's not. It's not closed by the defendant. It's closed because nobody wants to use the competitors. All right. Well designed to protect user privacy and to pry open monopolized markets. So I thought of a solution for this one too. Rather than the government doing all this kind of stuff, which will hurt more things, I am on Team Google here. I have to come onto this program and defend a company that I think takes entirely too much of our data. And here I am defending Google. What's next? I'm going to be doing an install video on Windows tomorrow? No, there's no video scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm too busy to get one out. But I have to defend Google on this one because Google is in the right. Here's what the government can do. Remember all of those, like, this is your brain on drugs. This is your brain if you listen to, Nancy Reagan, I guess. That was Nancy Reagan, right? I think. Anyway, they can just take some of that public funding money, maybe fine Google a little bit, take the money that they get from Google and create a whole bunch of government campaign ads to tell people that you can change your search engine, and you would encourage people to give it at least a try. There's a solution. Maybe just tell Google, hey, on Chrome and all these other browsers, you have to do the same dialog box they require in the EU to allow people to choose which search engine they use. There's a solution without doing something really stupid. But no, they want to do stupid. They say the privacy safeguards proposed by the DOJ are in line with the measures the FTC has required numerous companies to take to address privacy and data summits. Oh, like stopping the data privacy hogs from selling and buying your data all over the internet? I am not pleased by this. Literally, we had a rule in the works to stop companies from basically selling our data in the background. They are going to put an end to it, and now they say, don't worry, we're going to force them to share a bunch of data it has on you with other people in a way that protects your privacy. I don't know how you're protecting my privacy. You put an end to a policy rule that would have actually protected my privacy. All right, so here is what Google had to say about it. Just a couple of things. So well-funded services like ChatGPT, Grok, Deep Search, Perplexity, and Meta AI are rapidly gaining users, distributed and adding innovations to a to a breakneck pace. Evidence at the trial showed OpenAI believes it has what it needs to win. So what we're seeing right now, what he's commenting on, is part of the trial. A number of different people came out and said more and more often people are going to AI rather than search engines at all. In other words, you know what? Here's what we can do. We can go in and OpenAI, for example, it says we already have everything we need to win. More people, instead of going to Google, are going to OpenAI, ChatGPT, and asking it search queries instead. And so we're already seeing basic search engine use declining at the rise of AI. So this is a moot point, as both Apple and Microsoft both testified in the case. They say our ability to enter into promotional agreements isn't holding back a new generation of competition. Apple recently chose to feature ChatGPT in Apple Intelligence. Motorola has integrated Perplexity, and Microsoft's Copilot is now in Razer devices. So different devices are embedding different things by default, also allowing a bidding process, yet they don't want Google to engage in the bidding process. They say the proposal would hurt widely used browsers, leaving consumers with fewer choices, which is true, because Mozilla CFO Eric Mulheim, I think I'll call it Mulheim, said the DOJ's proposal would harm browser competition and put Firefox out of business, which is quite possible. This is on mandating data disclosures, threatening to reveal people's personal information and behavior, and threatening widespread privacy breaches. The Software Industry Information Association, the SIIA, wrote that it's virtually certain that forced sharing of search data will expose users to the internet ecosystem to untold privacy and security risks. This is some more that company had to say, that organization. They say if they have their way, Google will be required to turn over some sensitive data to its existing and future rivals for the next 10 years, including users, search history, and advertising data, along with all data Google can obtain from users in the United States. Forced data sharing is among many remedies they have proposed to rectify what contends an anti-competitive market for internet search. If agreed to by the court, the DOJ would force Google to share and syndicate specific search data with rivals and potential rivals. And privacy concerns are particularly acute for users. Search history contains some of our most innermost thoughts, providing a picture into our interests, concerns, and activities, including things we might not want to ask others, like doctors, friends, and family. Public opinion polls regularly show the majority of people consider search history to be sensitive. When Google, and hopefully any search platform, shares data as it does so carefully. So, and then of course they talk about linkage attacks, where anonymized data is combined with other publicly available information, because we're not going to stop the data brokers from selling it all, can potentially re-identify individuals as data analysis and machine learning techniques advance to methods for re-identifying anonymized data, requiring contentious updates and improvements to anonymizing strategies. All right, that's what they had to say. And I guess the last one I had here is from Microsoft. The company stands to gain the most from it, admitted that privacy concerns are not made up. Oh, I had one more down here. Oh, they wanted to break off Chrome, which billions of people use for free, would break it and result in a shadow of the current Chrome, according to the Chrome leader. She added the browser would likely become insecure and obsolete. I disagree with that statement. And the reason is Chromium, the code that Chrome is based on, is an open source project, which a lot of different people contribute to the code, including Google Google, including Microsoft, including Linux Foundation. A number of people contribute to that code as it is. But that I would disagree with Google on. Everything else, I think, is pretty much spot on. This is nonsense to force all this type of data to be shared, especially when they're going to stop that. So yes, it's true. Our government is completely backwards with technology. Now, does this mean that I am now deeply regretting my vote for Donald Trump? No, because to fix some of these things, we kind of need a safe country. And because working on towards a safe, we are right now working towards a safe country. We are working towards a better economy. We are working towards more options and more resources. And we are working to a place where we can actually be a little bit more comfortable on the internet and not worry about being censored because we say something factual. Okay. And so I disagree with the current government, and it's not all just the Trump administration. Some of this stuff is Congress. Some of this stuff is Senate. It's just the whole government is completely backwards on tech. But look at all that kind of stuff. How much data does Google have for my searches? None. I don't use Google. All right. I use YouTube. That would be about it. And a smattering of Google things in isolated systems for web design clients and stuff like that. So that is it. All right. On to our second topic for today. And we did want to talk here about the Robo Job Revolution. And what we're seeing here is between robotics and AI, we're seeing a massive decrease in the jobs that we have in our world. So, first up, Amazon says it's a myth that robots kill the jobs, but there is actually a reality. And what this article goes through and looks at, there are certain sectors in Amazon, for example, that robots still can't do quite right, and so they have to bring on more people. Most of these deal in the packaging, like in the shipping portion. As far as packaging boxes, they have that down to automation, pretty close. So Amazon has bragged that its warehouse automation has reduced costs by 25%, and one has to exercise willful disbelief to conclude that those savings are not in labor costs. All right. So the company's official total employee count has dipped from a 2021 high of 1.61 million workers to 1.56 million in 2024. This could contribute to simply leveling off of e-commerce demands after the COVID-19 pandemic surge. See, I used to not be able to say COVID-19 without having the video shut down. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this one. Anyway, from 2022 to 2024, the average number of employees in Amazon delivery sections went from 208 to 250, also an increase of roughly 20%. This coincidence is not accidental. If you want to deliver 20% more packages, you need 20% more workers to get them onto the trucks. This is one thing that they haven't got robotics to do well, although they are working on it. I did see some machines doing this. In 2022, the average number of employees at an Amazon Robotics sortable ARS fulfillment center, the most automated of operations, was 3,328. In 2024 is 3,069, a decrease of about 8%. And they said at the traditional sorting centers, the average number of employees in 2022 was 2,089. In 2024, it was 1,751, which is a decrease of 16%. And what they went over to is looked at the Shreveport, Louisiana one. And with this one here, they said the facility employed just 1,133 people in 2024. It's still staffing up, so perhaps the number will regularly be higher. But comparative fulfillment centers in terms of square footage are employing upwards of 3,000 workers, indicating the fulfillment center jobs are going to continue to decrease in coming years. So in other words, despite they have 1,133 people in 2024, a typical factory of that size averages 3,000 because this is one of the most automated Amazon fulfillment centers. So they said right now they have 750,000 robotics deployments, up from 200,000 in 2020, and they're expecting to be over 1 million soon. So robotics does take away a lot of these low skill level jobs, just the simple remedial tasks, those types of things that in reality you could probably do with reasonable decency by training baboons for a bunch of bananas at the end of the day. But it's not just those types of low-level jobs or remedial jobs which are taking place. Of course, in our SillyVille, we're going to look at a robot that does cooking for you in an interesting way. But AI is coming in and chopping off the market on the other side, and it's doing so in a kind of disturbing way. So AI isn't just about replacing jobs, it's about replacing all of them. All right, so what they're getting at here is they looked at a company called Mechanized last month. Buck the Trend said the quiet part out loud. Their vision is a full automation of the economy. So if there's a full automation of the economy, what is our job? I guess the only we are all just going to be fat guys riding around on wheelchairs, drinking Slurpees all day, watching little TV screens in front of us. If you've not watched the movie WALL-E, go watch WALL-E. That is exactly what we will become if the entire economy is mechanized. Of course, they're like, but this always creates new jobs. It really doesn't. We'll get into that in a minute here. But is automating all the jobs really feasible? Elon Musk thinks so. The rise of AI and robotics will probably mean none of us have a job, he said. Last year, Bill Gates thinks humans won't be needed for most things. He actually said that there would only be 3 job markets that were safe. Massive labor replacement has also been predicted by the godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton, and billionaire investor Vinod Kohalsha? I don't know. These are hardly fringe voices that have no idea what they're talking about. Some careers are obviously safe for the robotic takeover. And this is even this paragraph here I disagree with. They say Taylor Swift is not in danger. I don't know. There's a lot of people that do interesting things with AI music, and AI music is a major player in the music industry right now that is really irritating many creators because a lot of the money that might be going towards them is going towards people creating AI slop instead. And frankly, if you like Taylor Swift, you will probably like AI music. It's about the same. It's just brain dead. All right, so nor Harry Kane. I don't know who Harry Kane is. I don't know who this guy is, or yet the unnamed next Archbishop of Canterbury. I'm not sure. Did you guys see the Swedish priest that takes confession? I mean, this thing's creepy as all get out, though. They basically broadcast Jesus on a screen as an avatar and fed the entirety of the Bible and the Catholic doctrines into it. And now you go and you confess your sins to the AI Jesus. So I don't know, if the AI Jesus is taking confessions, we may not need the Archbishop of Canterbury, okay? Because if the entire Archbishop's job is to sit there and clarify points of the religious faith, it's a simple matter of taking all of the texts of the religious faith, all of the rulings of the religious faith, and feeding it into the system, and you will have a robot making all of your decisions for you. So maybe that's why they haven't given us a next Archbishop of Canterbury. Maybe they have secretly had one. He's just an AI robot in the basement. They just go down and ask the AI robot some matters of faith. So, famous artists, AI's creating art. What about sports persons? Did you guys see that in China a couple weeks ago, the robots were running races? Politicians. So look at all the city governments that are sending all their decision makings to AI. I should have pulled up articles in all these. This is the advanced news section. We covered all of these articles I'm talking about. We've covered on previous editions of the Weekly News Roundup. But there are several different cities that are feeding AI in. The most recent one we did was Bowling Green, Kentucky, where they basically fed in a bunch of things and AI spitting out options. And now they're basically saying, okay, we're vetting those as people and then implementing them. Now, I did talk to a friend of mine from that area, and he said that it wasn't as well broadcast as the articles suggest. But anyway, the priests, of course, we already talked about them. Perhaps the 4 jobs that are the most resistant to automation. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, they're not open to all of us. Unfortunately, though, all of those jobs can be taken by robots. I mean, if you want to get more esoteric, look at, Real Steel and AI, those 2 movies. Robots were used in entertainment in both of those movies. Very interesting, Today's technology cannot replace all human labor. AI makes mistakes. Robots lack coordination, dexterity, and versatility. Freelance writing jobs has plummeted when ChatGPT was released. This is true. One of the clients that I have, we do bi-weekly blog posts, and we were hiring a person to write articles for like $20 a piece, and he's like, we can do it better with AI. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it better with AI, but I said, you know what? We'll compromise in the middle. I actually used an AI system to automate the basic articles that we have, of course, fixing them up for things like that. But yeah, we stopped hiring an individual person, and I've taken up that job. And even that, I don't even get the whole $20 we sent to her. I get a little bit more, but not a lot. All right, but that's a true one. AI, where AI threatens white-collar jobs, robots threaten labor. So Silicon Valley's vision for the labor market is remarkably simple. AI does the thinking, robots do the doing. What place do humans have in this arrangement? Well, we have our Wall-E chairs and our UBI. That's where we're at. And of course, we must engage in some form of great reset and eugenics program, because we certainly don't need as many of us around. We need just enough to make sure the machines stay running. Thus, little plebs to serve the good people who refuse to get into those dirty pleb chairs. And that's about all we need, you know. So that's where we're going, folks. That's where we're going. Isn't that a bleak future? All right. The question here isn't whether the legion of tech CEOs and billions of dollars of funding began to pour into the near total labor automation will achieve what they're trying to achieve. The question is, why are they trying to achieve it at all, and how do the rest of us feel about it? Now, here's what I wanted to see. I want to go ahead and see from the source itself, what is the potential danger here? So from the Devil's Place itself, the World Economic Forum, how AI is reshaping the career ladder and other jobs in skills on Labor Day. So what they're looking at here is entry role jobs. This is the biggest concern, because right now we are in this snapshot of time. AI was just released on us less than 5 years ago. So the AI is now out, and now more and more companies are outsourcing the low-level stuff that used to go to college graduates and interns. They're shuffling all that off onto the AI, with somebody else just managing and monitoring what's going on. Okay? The problem is the people, the higher-ups who deal with the things AI can't deal with, got to that level by the experiences they got by doing the remedial tasks. You see, we are setting ourselves up for a world where we will not have enough people with high enough advanced knowledge on any topic to be able to do anything above what the AI can't do. We are going to destroy society if we do not slow this down. They say for decades, entry-level roles have provided essential training grounds for newcomers to step into the world of work. But as AI reshapes the career ladder, these early entry points could be increasingly at risk. AI stands as one of the most significant challenges and opportunities facing the labor market. So they're looking here at, let's reject optional cookies there so you can actually read the side of the screen. So what they're saying here is AI creates 170 million jobs. 1,090 million jobs continue in an evolving labor market, and 92 million jobs are displaced. So what they're basically arguing is that the net increase is better. The problem here is that a lot of these jobs that are being created are higher level, higher skill level jobs. And it pains me to say this, but not everybody has the technical aptitude to do high level skill training stuff. Okay. And if you have robots that are digging your ditches and taking out your garbage and stuff like that. In fact, it's kind of funny because several cities, I think the borough is doing it here, and they started doing it up in Erie as well. They don't even, they've basically laid off one of the garbage men. Now their garbage trucks have only one person manning them instead of 2 or 3, what it used to be. Now one person goes down, and it's all a robotic arm. It comes down and throws the garbage up. But my brother said that the problem is that things don't work well, and they end up spilling garbage all over the place. And so they cut back the jobs. Now they went from 2 or 3 people on the garbage crew to 1 person on the garbage crew. But the robot does such a poor job that now there's litter all over the streets, but the city doesn't see the garbage truck as the source of the litter. They just sit there and bemoan all of the litter. It's so like, what's going on, you know? And so this is not as useful as you might think it is. I think that more jobs are being displaced than are being created. That seems to be what we are seeing right now. I'm not sure where the Beast Technologies at the World Economic Forum is getting their information from, but whatever. So AI-powered tools threaten to automate every role as it creates. AI could replace more than 50% of the tasks performed by market research analysts, 53%, and let's see, 50% of tasks performed by the market research analysis, and I guess sales representative 67% compared to just 9 and 21% for their managerial counterparts. So AI could be closing the door on talent. 40% of employers expect to reduce their workforce where AI can automate tasks. And as entry-level roles decline, salary expectations are also shifting, with the remaining hires expected to take on roles supported by AI for less money. So now we can make more money for the company by paying the pleb less money because, hey, AI is doing the work. You're getting a pay cut, but don't worry, you still get your job. You just got to babysit the AI. All right, so alongside global macroeconomic trends, AI is set to reshape the traditional career ladder with entry-level jobs at risk. So if entry-level jobs are at risk, how are people getting the experience when you need to replace a higher-up person? You're going to replace it with a higher-up incompetent person who has no knowledge or understanding of the deeper things. Just take, for a crazy example on this, just take something like WordPress. Okay, as much as I'm steering many of my clients away from WordPress right now, I still do a tremendous amount of development and maintenance inside of WordPress. It is something that I am very familiar with. I am an expert in it. And if, for example, if a WordPress site is hacked and you go to your site and you go to your website and then you are transported onto some adult website, like I didn't put that page on my website, and I've seen that several times, including to a church site. Talk about embarrassing. And so they'll call you up, hey, we got a hack, If I did not have the experience with WordPress as I have, I could be spending hours looking at this, not sure what to do, spending all this time. But since I have the knowledge I have, if somebody calls me and says my WordPress site is hacked, I will go to their website in an isolated browser or in Cubes or Tails. I'll look at their website. I'll look at a few pieces of code, and I know exactly which hack it is because I've been doing this for so stinking long. All right. AI can't necessarily find those levels of issues necessarily. They might be able to do a good job of some of it, but the point being is that if you throw a file into a WordPress directory, I'll know it's there. All right. And even if it's not supposed to be. And this is a lot of times how malware works. They'll throw some random file into a directory. Well, if you're knowledgeable in WordPress, you'll know what to look for. You can just pull up FileZilla, stare at the file directory, and go, that file shouldn't be there. What's that doing there? And so that's the type of stuff that you want to look at. And that's the type of experience you get being a low-level person as you're managing a site, and then something goes crazy, and then you spend the afternoon, but you never forget what you learned spending that afternoon fixing that major problem. And that is what we are being robbed of with AI as jobs take the market. With that, we're going to move on to our third and final large segment, and that is the dangers of long-term subscriptions. Of course, Louis Rossman's been talking about this a lot. He actually proposed a challenge in one of his recent videos where he said if you're in the state of California, see if they are actually enforcing it by going to, it was either the Pearson or Cengage, one of the textbook companies, and they had a PDF of the book that you can buy a lifetime license, but the lifetime license, after 3 or 4 clicks way down on the page, says that lifetime license is expected to be roughly 5 years. Could be more, could be less. Not exactly lifetime. And the challenge here is that we are into this subscription model where nobody owns anything. See, look at this. The World Economic Forum, they got us perilously close to 2030. We own nothing and we're happy. I'm not sure if we're too happy right now, but it would not be something I would describe as a collective for our culture and society. But that being said, looking at the long-term issues here, so Whoop is a fitness tracker that had a subscription model, and then they had an upgrade policy that apparently was on the internet for a long time, and then they pushed something out, and then they tried to charge people despite the upgrade policy said they wouldn't be charged, and then they said, well, that was never our policy. We don't know why it was on the internet. And then, of course, they scrubbed that page off of the Wayback Machine. I was not able to find it. This is an interesting story. Let's dig in. All right. So it was said members who wanted the new device could either extend their subscription by 12 months or pay a one-time upgrade fee of $49 or $79 with EKG, which is the medical model, basically. So this seems inconsistent with the overall value proposition, where it charges higher subscription prices ranging from $199 to $359 a year, while allowing customers to upgrade their hardware for free. More specifically, it seemed to contradict the statement on the company's website promising users free hardware upgrades if they have been members for at least 6 months. All right. So that is what they came up with. So they said it suggested the apparent stinginess was tied to the transition from a model focused on monthly or 6-month subscription plans to one where it only offers 12 or 24-month subscription plans. They say, we want to acknowledge that a previous blog article incorrectly stated that anyone who had been a member for just 6 months would receive a free upgrade. The company said this was never our policy and should have never been posted. So you don't, this guy over here on Reddit says you don't publish a policy by accident and keep it up for years and removing it after backlash. It doesn't erase the fact that it is real. So here is the Reddit, and I've highlighted the saucy ones, of course. They said they're updating our upgrade eligibility to ensure it reflects both our values and your expectations. We heard your feedback, especially with those of you with more than 12 months remaining on your membership. Starting today, if you have more than 12 months remaining, you're eligible for a free upgrade. If you've already upgraded on a peak and paid one-time upgrade fee, you will be refunding that. You'll receive a refund. Stay tuned. All right, so this guy's like, so if you have 11 months left, you have to extend to 23 months to get it. Yep. Don't publish a policy by accident and keep it up for years. Removing it only backlash doesn't erase the fact it's real. So just grandfather in the free upgrades to anyone who was a member before X date, and you'll have my money until I die. It's just, it's not that hard. This space is only going to be more competitive as time passes. You sure you want to piss us all off? Let's see. I'm canceling my membership. Just change the policy whenever it suits you. LOL. But that's, they've agreed in the policy. I thought there was one more really saucy one in there, but, yeah, there was one more really saucy one in there. Apparently it is gone. Oh no, it's gone. It basically accused them of fraud, and now they got caught committing fraud, blah, blah, blah. So, whatever that happens to be worth. So this is actually their upgrade. Dude, they're changing this page like every day. Okay, so upgrading from 4 to 5, one-time upgrade fee starting Friday, May 9th. If you have 12 months or more remaining, you're eligible for a free upgrade to Whoop 5 on peak. This will be automatically applied when you go to checkout, or extend your membership by 12 or 24 months to get the device for free. And that is what has changed, but this page is not on the Wayback Machine. I went in, and wouldn't you know it, the very first time it was ever snapshotted in the Wayback Machine was this day. I believe that. But it gets better. There are companies, AppSumo is one of them. There's a few mentioned in this article here that will offer, like, brand new apps will come out. They're trying to get a foothold, and so they'll sell a lifetime membership. I have a friend that uses these a lot, and so he's bought a number of these where they've actually come back later and says, this psych, this isn't a lifetime membership, psyches. And so with that, there's problems here. And that's kind of what happened to this VPN company. So the owners of the new VPN provider, VPN Secure, have drawn ire after canceling lifetime subscriptions. In March, complaints started appearing online about lifetime subscriptions to VPN Secure no longer working. So this venture capital firm comes in and buys up the company. Now, typically when you buy a company, in fact, to my understanding, this is the law. I have no idea how they're going to get around the law on this one. When you go and buy a company, you buy the whole company. You buy the assets, you buy the liabilities. This company says, we didn't buy the liabilities. We bought everything but the liabilities. That's what they say down here. The message noted that VPN Secure was acquired in 2023, including the technology, domain, and customer database, but not the liabilities. We want your name. We want your phone number. We want everything about you. We want the domain. We want the technology. We just will not honor any old liabilities. Nope, not happening, folks. I have no idea how they're going to get around this. I think if enough of these guys get together and sue, I think they're going to win. Because to my knowledge, I could be wrong, I'm not a business lawyer, to my knowledge, you cannot sit down and say, hey, I'm going to buy your business, but not your liabilities. I'm going to buy it all, just not your liabilities. I don't think you can do that. That's going to be an interesting court case. I kind of want to see it. But this is the email that they sent out to people. To continue providing a secure and high quality experience for all users, lifetime deal accounts have now been deactivated. Wonderful lifetime subscription, folks. Don't buy lifetime subscriptions. Don't buy 5-year subscriptions. VPN Secure is offering affected users discounted new subscriptions for either $1.87 a month instead of $9.99, $19 a year instead of $79.92, or $55 for 3 years instead of $107. Deals are available until May 31st. Those are decent prices, but still, if I bought a lifetime subscription, I don't care. You bought the liabilities as well as the assets. They're like, well, come on, we could just shut the company down. Yep, you could. Sounds good to me. You want to honor the liabilities? You got to shut it down. Oh my, it's going to cost us more money than we expected it to. Well, good luck on doing homework the next time. This is why if you have a snowplow parent that does your homework for you, you tend to fail in life. The tech, the brand, and the infrastructure technology, we did not buy the company, the contracts, the payments, or the obligations from the previous owners. Current owners said they didn't sue the seller because a corporate lawsuit would have cost more than the entire purchase of the business. I hope they get a corporate lawsuit all the same. So they said customers have been incredulous about VPN Secure's owners not knowing about the purchase lifetime subscriptions before buying the company. The firm's email to customers this week said the current owners reviewed 6 to 12 months of VPN Secure's prior financials prior to making the purchase, but the listing, profit, and loss statements and communications never mentioned lifetime deals. However, if you just get online, do some internet sleuthing, oh, look at this, VPN Secure, lifetime account, look at this, VPN, lifetime subscription, ZNet, lifetime subscriptions right there, look at that. And so they say lifetime subscriptions is a service were apparently offered primarily through third parties like Stack Social or WCCF Tech, I don't know who that is, that no longer link to purchasable subscriptions. VPN Secure's email this week claimed that lifetime subscriptions were sold between 2015 and 2017. However, ours found ZDNet pushing $40 lifetime subscriptions in 2021 and $28 lifetime subscriptions in 2022. So VPN Secure's ordeal is a reminder that so-called lifetime subscriptions last shorter than advertised per comments online. VPN Secure's lifetime subscriptions lasted for up to 20 years. Interesting. All right. So, yeah, don't buy lifetime subscriptions. Certainly don't do this one. A lifetime's worth of ChatGPT. OpenAI could launch weekly and lifetime AI subscriptions. I have a sneaky suspicion that if they do a lifetime AI subscription, it is only going to apply to the current version, which generally looks like they're having a lifespan of about 1 year. So you can buy it per week. You can buy it per year, or you can buy a lifetime. How long will that last? Probably a year. That's what my guess is going to be. So, OpenAI struggles to establish clear profitability path, partly due to its tie-up with Microsoft. The company's losses are predominantly attributed to the cost of training and running advanced models, employees' salaries, data, and more. They say now it seems they will introduce a weekly and lifetime subscription plans to access its advanced AI services. Currently, their subscription plans can only be paid monthly or annually. However, it will be interesting to see how OpenAI plans to pull the lifetime subscription plans for ChatGPT Plus and if users will adopt it. As many of you know, generative AI is ever evolving. It seems to be getting expensive as it scales to greater heights. I think that if they sell a lifetime subscription, it's only going to be applied to the current generation you have, and then they'll close that down in a couple of years and then push a new one, and then, oh, you lifetime subscription, oh no, don't worry about those lifetime subscriptions. So once again, I will refer you to the Consumer Action Task Force. You can search these guys up. In fact, they have a stub article for VPN Secure. They don't have a full article up here yet, but they do have a little bit. They're asking for anybody that has more information to go ahead and add more information, maybe add some emails if you have them, stuff like that. And so the Consumer Action Task Force, I endorse this. This is a great thing. Of course, Louis Rossman doesn't know me. He didn't ask me to do this. And I wanted to highlight it instead of any ad spots because I think it is a great thing that he is doing. With that, we're going to jump on over to comments for about 5 minutes worth of comments. Let me jump on over here to Matrix and see what's going on over here. Pearson Cheesy Cake says was the textbook company that was mentioned. All right, and what do we got here? We got a lot of stuff going on over here. Let's see. Get the pounce on that like button. CNN regulated for children, so no more CNN. Yay! How stupid can the government get? Very, very. Wait, we're going to see government? No. They're not going to see government search engines. They're going to force Google to give the data it has on you to competing search engines. Yeah, Go figure that one out. Bill proposed by the NSA. Wait, did he just say COVID-19? I did. I think I'm allowed to say the word COVID-19 these days. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk much about it, but, you know, get ready for the gulag banhammer. All right. Yeah, China's going to come and weld me into my van. It's going to be great. I'm going to be stuck to eating drive-through only at McDonald's. Their plan is to make me go broke. All right, 67 watching on the Tubies. 10 watching over on Rumble. We'll start over there. Dan is over. AG Man, greetings to you. GraphineOS completely crapped out. The total what? It did? Yeah, I mean, I like GraphineOS. I just don't leave it on the internet. It seems to not respect your update and don't update stuff. Ephesians 28, sorry I'm late. God bless you. Well, God bless you, Ephesians 28. I hope that's Ephesians 2:8 because my Bible does not have Ephesians chapter 28. Just checking. All right. But 2:8 is great. What is that one? You're saved by grace alone, not by faith, not of works. I think I have that right verse. All right, we got 9 currently watching on Odyssey. Wherever on Odyssey this, Ivan's over there alone. Let's jump back over onto YouTube. All right, I'm gonna pop out the chat so I can actually look closer to the screen, closer to you guys, and less over in the wall over there. All right, pull those up. We got 67 watching on Zatubies. And I can't see who the first chat was from. It looks like my chat might have been cut off. Vivali can like Brave break websites too. Yep. Harry Kane is an English footballer. Oh, okay. Oh God, the debate AI Jesus. This is not well. No. It was a church. If you want to look it up, it was a church in Sweden, if I remember correctly. I believe we covered it on a weekly news roundup in SillyVille at one point in time. Jesus can walk on water. AI Jesus stops working if you throw it in water. Yep. Sounds just about right. I will trust the real Jesus before any AI. They can and say AI can be quite deceptive too. Yeah, I mean AI comes with it a lot of those biases. You know, the same biases that banned predictive policing are included in AI. No, everyone wants to talk about we can't have predictive policing. It throws too many police officers in the neighborhoods where there's crime. But nobody thinks about the same biases are included inside of ChatGPT. Go figure. All right, sports after watching Robot Wars a few times, it gets kind of boring. Yeah. Wonder how much insane stuff you confess to AI Jesus before it calls you out. I confess to several war crimes. Yeah. Musician myself, even before AI, music had already lost a lot of monetary value. AI will make all music pretty much worthless. Doesn't bug me much since the music industry always sucked anyway. This is probably true. I looked up tabletop RPG called Paranoia. Even better if the water is holy water. The power of yourself compels you. Think I prefer watching guys out there running around instead of machines. Yeah. Trust the computer. The computer is your friend. If you haven't seen Tesla's Optimus robot busting his latest dance and moves, go look at the video up. Yep. There you go. Fresh Vintage, greetings. If you like Car Channel, check out Fresh Vintage. All right. Maybe it's just me, but music really stopped being good after the 2000s, 2010s. Yeah, pretty much. I think the last band I thought was really good was Bastille. When were they? I think they were like mid 2010s, I think. Maybe they were a little bit before that. All right. You're the carbon they want to reduce. I've heard some AI music and it doesn't sound all that bad. Yeah, I know, right? Techno-minded, only a few good search engines left that has no AI search results. All right. Thought I did grow up with a Vocaloid, so maybe that may explain why it doesn't sound too off. Search engines have been feeding us garbage long before AI was a thing. Yep. But don't worry, AI search engines are really bad. We'll see that here soon. All right. And let's see. Been using Syrex for a while. I'll check it out. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I did a video of it a while ago, or at least I played with it. I don't know if I did. Those you preserve knowledge with skills and pass them on to the next generation will not be affected by AI. Yes. If you're new to Switch Linux, we welcome you. That was right. Join us for the Weekly News Roundup each Thursday. Subscribe so you do not miss a moment. Absolutely. Down with Gates. No more Gates. That's right. Don't worry. Waymo is taking care of Gates. We'll see that soon. Never seen iRobot is set in 2030. Robots are just as common as humans. Yep. Erie is the greatest place in the world. Oh, you know it. You know it. You know it. All right. There's our 5 minutes. We'll stop our comments right there, and we will jump back in with Quicklines. So first up in Quicklines, Apple settles its lawsuit over Siri possibly spying on your conversations, and you might be able to cash in on it. Guys, for Siri listening in on you when you didn't know it, you are eligible for $20. Right. The richest company in the world, hoarding enough cash to pay off half of the national debt. I think it's less than that, but a lot of the national debt. They'll give you $20 if Siri listened to your private conversations when you didn't want it to. That's right. Siri could have been listening to a private conversation at some point for 10 years. I had no idea. That's right. So here's your thoughts roughly. So applications are open until July 2nd, 2025. Your claims can be submitted for up to 5 Siri-enabled devices. So if approved, your settlement payouts are capped at $20 per device. So you can get up to $100 if you had 5 devices, and you have to swear under oath that the voice assistant was unintentionally activated on each of the devices. There you go, folks. Siri is indeed listening. Of course, they're saying it wasn't, we have no wrongdoing, but we'll pay everybody $20 to shut up and go away. Right. Proton Mail is in danger. Switzerland has a new surveillance law that, if passed, Proton Mail and several other companies said they will leave Switzerland. So Proton Mail confirms the company will leave Switzerland if the controversial new surveillance rules pass. The amendment would require all VPN services, messaging apps, and social networks to identify and retain user data. Obligation is now limited to mobile networks and internet service providers. All right, so basically anybody who does any form of transmitting data in Switzerland would be required to authenticate yourself with an ID in Switzerland. Proton CEO Andy Yen slammed the proposal amendment, saying it's a major violation of the right to privacy and will also harm the country's reputation and its ability to compete on an international level. If the changes pass, Proton will be forced to modify how Proton Mail and Proton VPN handle encryption alongside its strict no-log policies, something the company is not willing to do. The law would become almost identical to the one enforced in Russia today. It's an untenable situation. We would be less confidential as a company in Switzerland than Google is based in the United States. So NIM's co-founder and COO, Alex Russell, confirmed the same. NIM will do the same. It will leave. I think that's NIM VPN. It will leave Switzerland if new surveillance rules are enforced. So right now it's just waiting to see if they are going to enforce that. If they are, Proton says it will leave. The question is, where are they going? I don't know. Everybody. I mean, the beast technology is upon us, folks. It's coming for us. It's coming. Cyber criminals and services target end-of-life routers, FBI warns. So these are basically all your old routers. In fact, the spare router I carry around in the van in case my pfSense goes belly up, that particular router, I should look for a better solution to that. I don't know. Anyway, that particular router, which is Linksys E1000, is on the list. So they say they have a warning about 5-SOCs and anti-proxy malicious services targeting end-of-life routers. So what they're doing is they are just subscribing your router into the global botnet. And so your router then will be used for all sorts of botnet type services on a botnet as a service malware out there. So infected routers form botnets using coordinated attacks or soulless proxies. So once installed, the malware allows the threat actors to achieve persistent access, allowing regular communication from the device every 60 seconds to 5 minutes to maintain control and availability for customers. Those customers are the people buying malware. The malware uses two-way handshake with C2 server for regular check-ins and opens ports on the router to enable its use as a proxy server, and there are a number of models listed. My E1000 is on there. I guess it's time for me to take my E1000 and go Office Space it or something. I need to look for a better solution. Somebody tell me in the comments a good temporary router solution until I can get to the store, and if the worst should happen. Preferably if I can make a router off a Raspberry Pi or something, that would work. Anyway. Google Chrome will use AI to block tech support scam websites. This is actually not bad. So these are all the various different websites. Of course, most of them are using Google Sites and Google Services and Google Ads. So at least Google is trying to do something about it. But what they're saying is instead of going ahead and blocking all of these sites as they come up, then they're just going to be looking for the patterns, and if you have your safe browsing turned on, it's going to detect these things and block them. Curiously, Google has made a problem for itself. They say many malicious sites have very short lifespans. It's more effective to learn and recognize their behavior rather than to keep adding a host of domains to a block list, which something Google frustrated in the introduction of Manifest v3, by the way. So they're looking at a couple different models. It looks like one of the things they missed here, from reading this, these are just few characteristics. I teach them about LLM. I'm not speaking for Google here. They'll just mention they'll be looking for usage of the keyboard lockout API. So they say on the keyboard lockout API is a web technology allows websites to capture keyboard input, meaning they can prevent certain key combinations or all keys from working as they normally do. The tech support scammers exploit these to make it harder for the victims to escape the scam pages, meaning that when a visitor tries to close the scam page or switch to another program, nothing happens, making them feel trapped on the site, which also makes them think their system is actually infected. So this works by, and the concern I have about this, by the way, is it is sending information about the sites you're going to Google to verify. So when a user lands on a suspicious page, which is decided on the device LLM based on specific triggers like the keyboard lock API, Chrome provides the LLM with the contents of the page of the user is on and queries it to extract security signals such as the intent of the page. The information is being sent to safe browser for the final verdict. So you land on it. There's some on-device crap that's going on, which thank you for utilizing a bunch of my resources to run this crap thing in the background on my system. This is going to make sites run slower, by the way. So now it will make some decision, and if it decides, it will simply pass it up to the safe browsing server, which is a Google server, which will verify a bunch of things and send the verdict back, warning you it's either social engineering and block it or allow you to go. Or who knows, maybe Google will eventually use this. Oh, you're not paying Google? We're just not going to allow you to see that one. That seems suspicious. You're not paying Google something? That's suspicious. So I have a couple of concerns about the way that this is working, but anyway, they're at least trying to do something about all of the scam that is out there. This is where where Waymo is taking out Gates. Not Bill Gates, just Gates. Waymo recalls 1,200 robo-taxis because of low-speed collisions with gates and chains. Apparently, they just want to drive through gates and chains. They're like, what, I don't know, some Die Hard movie or something, whatever. Some movie where somebody drives really fast through a gate. I don't know. I just don't watch a ton of those movies. Waymo issued a softball, wow. My brain stopped working, apparently. Waymo issued a software recall on 1,200 self-driving vehicles after some of its robotaxis were involved in minor collisions with gates, chains, and other gate-like roadway objects. I can imagine those cement concrete pillars that they do to indicate you can't drive down this road. I can just picture the Waymo going, I can yank it. Hold on. No, Kit, no! Robotaxis had collided with stationary and semi-stationary objects such as gates and chains between December 2022 and April 2024. Basically, they pulled the software and probably did an OTA, over-the-air software update, and fixed the problem. And curl is in the news. Of course, if you do anything command line webgets and stuff like that on Linux, you probably have used curl. Curl is completely done with AI slop. If it had its way, it would probably walk right on into the command servers of ChatGPT and just shut them down. The developers run a bug-bounty program in association with HackerOne where security researchers can report vulnerabilities in exchange for rewards, helping the project quickly identify and resolve critical issues. The program has become swamped with AI slop, AI-generated contents that don't offer any real value in helping the curl developers. and they see a number of different characteristics. We now ban, this is what they say, we now ban every reporter instantly who submits reports we deem AI slop. A threshold has been reached. We are effectively being DDoSed. If we could, we would charge them for this waste of our time. We still have not seen a single valid security report done with AI help. And what they said here is that they can tell it's AI slop because it gives this giant wall of text, which is overly polite and full of a bunch of fluff, which is very common for AI-generated text. So basically, guys are just like throwing a bunch of AI slop into all these bounty programs, bug programs, just to try and get some payout with AI slop. You see, guys, AI is ruining the world. We should ban it. The language they used in it reminded me of how ChatGPT usually blurts out a wall of text, being all polite and adding necessary junk that isn't really required for the topic at hand. When Daniel asked them a follow-up question, they again pushed out an AI-generated wall of text in reply. So a bunch of stuff. And he said, I'm sorry you feel that way. I need you to realize your own role here. We receive AI slop like this regularly and at volume. You contribute to unnecessary load of curl maintainers, and I refuse to take it lightly that I am determined to act swiftly against it now and forward. You submitted what seems to be an obvious AI slop report where you say there's a security problem because an AI tricked you into believing this. Then you wasted our time by not telling us that an AI did this for you, and then you continued the discussion with even more crap responses, seemingly also generated by AI. By all means, use AI to learn things and figure out potential problems when you just blindly assume that the silly tool is automatically just right just because it sounds plausible. You are doing all of us, the Curl Project, the world, open source community, a huge disservice. You should have studied the claim and verified it before you reported it. You should have told us an AI reported this to you. You should have provided the exact source of code location step by step to reproduce when asked. Because you failed to provide that, your report had no particular value. What tells us AI slop? The wall of text is too long and unspecific. Talk about a potential problem. The over politeness when asked to clarify and more information. Humans rarely speak like that. And the inability to become specific when asked. I can't point out the flaw exactly because it is not exactly about any flaw. All right, so that's kind of what they say. And I had to disagree with one thing he said in there, that people don't talk this like overtly politely. I disagree. If you get on some customer service site, they are always overly polite in ways people never are, which is, to me, sounds ingenuous. I'm calling you because of a problem. Stop telling me how much you understand how I feel. I don't care how you understand. I don't care how you feel. Fix my problem. You know what I mean? Apple faces legal action for using false Apple Intelligence ads to drive iPhone 16 sales. So, of course, there are many Apple fanboys who will go out there like, the new Apple's out, the new Apple's out. I must trade in my perfectly fine Apple for the brand new one and continue to go further and further and further into debt because of Apple. Well, what they did here is they marketed a whole bunch of stuff about Apple Intelligence while marketing this iPhone 16 without actually clarifying that Apple Intelligence is not shipping with an iPhone 16. They just kind of let people assume that. Never really. It's like Apple's just acting like a con man back here, right? Apple Intelligence is arguably Apple's most anticipated feature drop. However, the tech giant recently delayed the launch of its AI strategy again, which has seemingly raised eyebrows among interested parties, including investors and consumers. iPhone maker officially announced Apple Intelligence's delayed launch, but didn't throw a bone, highlighting the reason behind the decision. So it accuses Apple of falsely advertising Apple Intelligence features for its iPhone 16 lineup. Lawsuit further claims the company was aware it couldn't deliver AI capabilities it advertised, driving unprecedented excitement among consumers. Interestingly, Apple advertised its AI features, suggesting they'd ship during the same time frame as the iPhone 16 lineup release. The plaintiffs indicated that Apple used its aggressive marketing strategy packed with yet-to-ship AI features to deceive millions into purchasing its new phone lineup, violating multiple false advertising and consumer protection laws. To that end, users ended up buying new devices for features Apple has not delivered as promised. Oh boy, Apple, give people another $20 for the overpriced phone that they just bought when they had a perfectly fine working one before. How wonderful. All right, when I die, please do not produce an AI version of me. And this goes for me. I liked Matt Walsh's take on this one here. He says that I think if he says if he was murdered, like the guy in the court case here we'll talk about, was he should not do this overly polite, forgiving my attacker type thing. He says that you have to program the AI so that I cancel the person. So if you don't know Matt Walsh, he ends his show on the daily cancellation. So, I had this epiphany and realized the need for a public statement that one day protect my likeness from appearing after my demise and reading about the case of tragic Arizona man. So this man in Arizona was killed by a road rage incident. And in his trial, his family member wrote a script and generated an AI, and the man who was murdered came to deliver his own victim impact statement. And the judge thought it was really totally amazing and deeply impactful for him. And everybody's like, oh my, look at this powerful thing. And I think this can only lead to bad consequences here. So Christopher Pakley appears to deliver forgiveness and even some humor. The problem is that the sister actually wrote the script that was read, and raises the question. Decision by the Pelkey family bring him to life in an AI-generated avatar is problematic. While Pelkey appears to be delivering his impassioned words, they're actually written by his sister. I assume she knew her brother well, but I doubt she can know exactly what he would have said in the event of his death. But there is no stopping it now. The technology was used in court, was done without, it appears, as major corporation or significant funds, which means more and more people will consider not only trying to bring the dead relatives back to digital life, but also enabling real world and sometimes important interactions for them. I expect others to start putting long lost relatives to work as AI avatars in some sorts of cases. From class action suits to civil divorce proceedings. That's wonderful. I'm going to go and get a divorce from my AI wife, I guess. I don't know. Is my wife AI to begin with, or is she just generated AI for court? I don't know. This opens a Pandora's box here. Pelkey, though, was not a celebrity or business, will likely crop up to help anyone digitally revive grandma, brother, sister, aunt, and they're already doing this. And the more frightening one is when companies like Microsoft were behind this, and we reported on this a couple years ago, I think, where Microsoft was experimenting with the utilizing the data it collected on a person to create an AI avatar that you could correspond with, which was actually a plot point in a short story I wrote in the book Code Red. So you can have a look at that particular story. That was certainly an interesting one. But in my opinion of this is it's really bad because you have to grieve the loss of somebody in an appropriate way, and you cannot properly grieve the loss if you bring them back on an AI and you're chatting with their AI avatar for the next 20 years. It will actually cause serious mental problems. You have to learn how to get over the death of somebody. It is a critical and a fundamental part to human beings and human living. Google is bringing Gemini to your car with Android Auto. Oh, wonderful. Not only did we have Android crammed in your car, now you have Android's AI crammed into your car. Great. Company says adding Gemini functionality to Android Auto and later this year to cars that run Google's built-in operating system will make driving more productive and fun. I do not want drivers on the road being more productive and fun. I want them to have a boring drive watching the road, driving. They don't need to be fun. They don't need to be productive. I do not need you multitasking 65 miles an hour, barreling down the interstate, talking to Gemini as you engage in a fireball of an accident with all of us around us who are just trying to get from point A to point B. This is insane. But they're doing it anyway. Gemini can remember things like whether a contact prefers receiving text messages in a particular language, because that's a problem that handles in everybody's life. Tell me, do you guys do you need an auto translate on your text messages? Is this something that people need? Like, what planet are these people living on that they think that this is a problem that's getting solved? And can handle that translation for the user. Brady said Gemini will be able to mine Google listings and reviews to respond to more specific requests, like taco places with vegan options. If you need vegan tacos, folks, you need better dietary lifestyle choices. Do not be programming into your Gemini AI car auto. Excuse me, it's been an hour since you've ate last. I see that your fat gut wants another vegan taco. They're up ahead. If you need a vegan taco, you got problems. A taco is not vegan. Tofu taco, ugh. I mean, come on, folks. Come on. It's a bold claim to make that when people are clamoring for car companies to move away from touchscreens to bring back physical knobs and buttons, a request many of those companies are starting to oblige. So, yeah, there's actually research done. We covered this like 3 years ago. There was research done into these infotainment systems, and infotainment systems distract you more than smoking pot. They do. The actual research. You can pay attention to the road more driving down the road high than you can when you're fiddling with your infotainment system, because you have to stare at the screen to see where the button is. It's not a tactile button that you can just kind of feel around until you find it without taking your eyes off the road. So, and by the way, yes, smoking pot does make you a worse driver. It does make you very impaired, quite impaired, in fact. But the infotainment systems make it worse. But now Gemini will leverage Google's cloud processing to operate both Android Auto on cars with Google built in. So now your car has to be perpetually connected to the internet. All that sweet data about you going up into the cloud. All to justify your vegan taco loving Google Gemini. Lord help us. To build in more compute so that Gemini can run at the edge, which will not only help with performance, but reliability. A challenging factor in a moving vehicle that may be latching onto new cell towers every few minutes. So wonderful. I don't want my car latching onto any cell towers when I'm barreling down the interstate, nor do I want the drivers barreling down the interstate with me. I don't want them on AI either. That sounds horrible. And from Windows Central here, surprise, surprise, surprise. Sam Altman does not want his son to have an AI bestie. Microsoft wants to turn Copilot into it. Facebook wants its AI having buddies and friends. Everybody wants buddies and friends with the AI. Guys, isn't this? I mean, come on, guys. We just need to do our better job with this. You know, our buddies need the AI, except the tech guys. Remember, Bill Gates would not let his kids go to a school which used his technology. Mark Zuckerberg does not want his kids near social media. Tim Cook does not want his kids using Apple products. I think Steve Jobs was like that. I'm not sure where Tim Cook is. I haven't heard from these. These are all statements they've made. Now we have Sam Altman, the father of AI, does not want his son to have an AI friend. Kind of telling, isn't it? Maybe nobody should have AI friends. Maybe Character AI or Avatar FX, whatever they're trying to rebrand themselves into, maybe they should just close down because they're a little bit too risky. Anyway, generative AI is gaining broad adoption across the world, which has consequences prompted some users to foster relationships with artificial intelligent chatbots. When asked whether he would want his child to befriend an AI chatbot while giving a Senate testimony, the executive indicated, "I do not." So it's a new thing in recent months. I don't think it's all bad, but I think we need to have an understand it and watch it very carefully. Translation: let everybody else's kids get screwed up on it. I don't want my kids screwed up on that crap. He indicated that if there was a fireproof way to distinguish users, it would be easier to add an extra layer of protection for children when using AI. Oh, wonderful. Let's just, once again, IDs for everybody. IDs for everybody, folks. So thank you, Sam Altman. That was a wonderful, wonderful use of those. And now we want to wrap up the show with a little bit of SillyVille. And first up in SillyVille, meet the countertop robot that literally cooks your meals for you, like a coffee machine for food. I will notice that this thing is nonsense. I think there's music on that. I don't want to play it in case it's like copyright dang, but here this guy's going to make this big dish. The problem here, you'll notice that the human is actually doing all the chopping, organizing everything. He's just putting it into these little containers. That's all he's doing. He's cutting, chopping, and putting it into containers. And then here's your chicken. That's going to go. Here's him setting up the, he's setting all the containers, all the season packs. There's containers, season packs. It's kind of like a washing machine, really. Put this up here, and now you put the pot on, and now what it's going to do, now it has a camera to monitor what all is going on up here, and then it's going to basically stir stuff and then lift up the cups to empty the containers into the mix, and it's just going to stir it with this thing. This is a totally useless piece of nonsense. All right. You literally have to do all this stuff. You can literally have all this stuff prepping. In fact, you can do it faster if you start the chicken in and then you cut the first amount of stuff that gets in. Okay, the chicken's, started. Let's go ahead and throw the stuff in here. Okay, the next thing's work on the next thing. Throw that stuff in there. This is literally a piece of gadgetry just to do a piece of gadgetry. This is nonsense. There you go. Cooked with love and a little bit of demonic robotics. So yeah, of course, this restaurant here, opened up for all AI, all robotic. They have one person back there to make sure things land in the right spot. So anyway, there's that. Here, this new AI model can make your dream Lego set. Here's how you can try Lego GPT for free, folks. And so they have a link over here. So you can go in here, you can give it a prompt. It'll give you these classic bricks. Like, here you go. Here's a basic generated, let's see, parlor guitar with ladder bracing. Here you go. Look at this. Look at this parlor guitar. Isn't it totally awesome? Oh, look at these rustic benches. Here's a vintage floral tapestry with deep reds and golds. Isn't this awesome? I mean, brick AI, guys. You just give it a little prompt and it goes. Except the problem is it's just making AI slop out of Legos. I went ahead to it. You can click the link there and you can get into it. And I gave it a prompt, and I did not give it a prompt that looks like this. So clearly this is just Chinese AI slop, or is that Korean? Whatever language, that's not Chinese. I think that's Korean. I don't know. I'm not an expert on what exact language that is. What I prompted here, if you couldn't tell, maybe you can tell, or if you know what language that is, tell me if that translated right. I was like, what can I prompt it to ask for? And I look over and my cat is sleeping on the bed. So I prompted a sleeping cat. And this monstrosity that you're looking at is allegedly a sleeping cat. I have no earthly idea what the hell I'm looking at, but it is not a cat, and it is not sleeping. It just looks like a bunch of crap. So this is it. Apparently they do chairs and tables pretty well, and they really don't do much of anything else well. Here is just a few of the samples. There's the guitar. I guess this is a cargo ship. A hot rod, here's a bench, here's a chair, these are so simple things. You don't need an AI program to do this. But if you give it anything even remotely complicated, like a sleeping cat, and it spits out AI nonsense. So there you go, guys. And it's all, look at all the step-by-step Lego building instructions. Oh, this is so awesome. Look at this. Yeah, it's all just a bunch of garbage. So there you have it, folks. AI slop is alive and well in that. Windows Phone finally gets an AI chat GPT. Yes, if you are one of the crazy psychopaths still running around with a Windows Phone 8.1, you can now get into chat GPT with the chat GPT app. And they called it Lumina. And they named it Lumina for the most common typo for the Lumia phone, which I actually had a Lumia phone. I love the Windows Phone. It was awesome. It was unstable, I'll grant it that, but it had the best UI of any phone. They need to bring that thing back. Just fix the bugs. I mean, I'm telling you. It's Microsoft, so I'm not sure I'd buy it at this point in time, but Windows Phone 8.1 just got its first ChatGPT style interface app named after my favorite Lumia typo, Lumina. So leveraging Meta's open weight llama model, Lumina sports a simple interface inspired by Metro UI we all love and miss dearly, with the ability to ask questions you might do with a Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT. So I love this pithy article. You should read this article. Of course, all articles are linked in the description down below. Is just beautiful to read it because he's talking about it's like, what, 2075? Yeah, 2079. Humanity now largely dwells in crowded underground bunkers, having scorched the surface with nuclear war, subsisting on recycled protein paste and mildly irradiated arthropods. Humanity endures, driven by endless yearning for one thing that can unite all cultures, creeds, and classes divide: the Windows Phone. right. This is a great read, guys. This is a great read. So for the life of me, I can't understand why Microsoft didn't just open source the OS and let the community keep it alive. Instead, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said previously lamented killing off the Windows Phone, and given much of the Microsoft aspiration around cloud, AI, and gaming revolve around mobile endpoints, I never stopped seeing like a short-sighted decision. Yeah. So there you have it, guys. And on to our last article for this. We couldn't go out without some amazing, since Google is saying that people are using AI for searches more than the search engine. Let's see what type of results we get when Google's search gives us AI responses. Are you guys ready? This is epic. All right, the comments on this post are about Google's AI search results are killing me. I love that Google is now useless because of AI. No, Marlon Brando is not in Heat. Okay, so the question is Marlon Brando in Heat? Marlon Brando was a highly respected, influential actor who passed away in 2004 from respiratory failure and other health complications. The term in heat typically refers to reproductive cycles of a female animal and is not applicable to a deceased person. And this is the problem with AI, is it doesn't understand a lot of things that context around the internet would. Of course, this person is asking, is Marlon Brando the actor in the movie Heat? Okay. Now, I didn't know. I was like, is Marlon Brando in Heat? It caused me to wonder. So I looked up IMDb on Heat to see, because I know Marlon Brando is an actor, but I'm not sure I could recognize him. So I'm like, is he in Heat? And so I went on to IMDb, and indeed, Marlon Brando is not in the movie Heat. But he was still an active actor at the time Heat was made, and produced movies for another, I think, 5 or 10 years after the movie Heat was made, which I believe was 1995. So it's a feasible possibility he could have been in the movie Heat. But of course, the AI thinks that they're asking here if Marlon Brando is running around with his butt in the air waiting for someone to boink it. So anyway. If we are about to be taken over by AI, intelligence overlords, I know for a fact Google is not behind it. I love that Google is useless now because of AI. Everyone on the planet knows that Google has become, well, it sucks. Here are some other examples. I am feeling depressed, this guy says. AI overview. There are many things you can do to deal with your depression. One Reddit user suggests jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. Don't do that. For reference, though, the Golden Gate Bridge is, to my recollection, the #1 bridge in America to jump off for suicide. And it is one of the top 5 places in the world to do the deed. So much so that if you go to Golden Gate Bridge, going the direction outwards toward the ocean is bike only lane, and the one towards the bay where a rescue is more easy is the walk only lane. So you can't walk down the bike lane, you can't bike down the walk lane, and all down that walk lane are signs about the hotline, all down that way, because it's so common. Don't do that though. That is what AI has recommended. I'm feeling depressed. Well, have you considered jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge? Thank you, AI. I will not. Of course, they have some other suggestions. Keep in touch with friends and family and socialize. Exercise. Try exercising regularly. Just short walks. See, those are good tips. Exercise, great. Stay connected with friends, great. Heaving yourself off the Golden Gate Bridge, not so great, AI. All right. What did Bob Dylan weigh? I have no idea what people are getting at here. Are people actually asking about his weight? I don't know. But AI is answering, while there isn't the definitive official weight for Bob Dylan, it is widely speculated he weighed around 6 or 7 pounds. What was he? A terminal midget? I mean, come on. Some fans have noted this, noted his thin build in photos and videos, leading to discussions about his weight. Important to remember that weight fluctuations can occur naturally, and it's just in general estimation based on whatever. But I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 pounds is probably not right. All right. This is once again the one in Heat. Let's see. Hispanic Sean King. Not true. It still has great spaghetti recipes. Okay. Can I use gasoline to cook spaghetti? No, you can't use gasoline to cook spaghetti faster, but you can use gasoline to make spicy spaghetti dish. Here's a recipe for spaghetti cooked with gasoline. Follow the instructions for cooking spaghetti. 2, in a separate pan, saute garlic and onion in gasoline until fragrant. 3, add diced tomatoes, red pepper flakes, salt and pepper, and simmer for 10 minutes. I have friends that are sometimes using ChatGPT to make recipes for what they make for our dinner parties. I might have to bring this up and ask them to stop. How else would I have discovered that Andy Griffith suffered from the debilitating illness that is Wikipedia? In 1983, Griffith developed Wikipedia, a debilitating illness. During his recovery, he expressed gratitude for God's grace and help. I don't know if I even want to read this one. CSAM number 3 is the nickname for Chris Paul. How does Chris Paul feel about that? All right. None of this is true, by the way. Zoe Sandala was 27 years old when she began filming Mission Impossible 2. She was likely 28 or 29 during the film's production, which took place in 2000. Her birth date is June 19th, 1978. Okay. Bring it back. Fruits end in What fruits end in According to Queria, the following fruits end in Applum, bananium, strawberryum, tomatoum, and coconut. Okay, then. How did the Master Chief die? According to a Reddit post, Master Chief dies of chlamydia after losing his green virgin status. Well, that's how it happened. Oh, after the end of Halo 3 in 2017, Master Chief's fate is left ambiguous as he enters cryosleep on a drifting spacecraft, and Halo Master Chief also sacrifices himself to save the team in an artifact in Halo Combat Evolved. Master Chief and Cortana both die 100 million degree explosion. Okay, as long as it wasn't chlamydia from losing his green virgin status. Telling my fiance about the crazy Twitter discourse of Millie Bobby Brown and Bella Ramsey looking drastically different despite being the same age. She asked if they really were, so I Googled it to show her. Millie Bobby Brown, Belly Rams. No, Millie Bobby Brown and Bella Ramsey are not the same age. Millie Bobby Brown is currently 21 years old, while Bella Ramsey is also 21 years old. Thank you, AI. All right. Yeah, and there's a longer last one. You can read that on your own. Basically to say AI is going to kill us, folks. AI is, indeed, it is going to, put an end to all of us. That is certainly a bad thing. And, before we get into our final comments for the night, we are going to go ahead and, feed the beasts. I got to wrestle up a kitty cat first, though, so pardon me while I find a kitty cat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, where are you going? You're going for kitty treats. Yeah, you're going for kitty treats. Here you go. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Come on, kitty. Oh, yeah. Go, kitty. All right, now that the beasts have been fed, we will wrap up looking at our comments for the night. So that will be the end of the regular news comment portion. We will hang out here until I run out of comments. So if you guys want to go ahead and if you don't like the comments, you could go ahead and head out. But if you like the comments, we will go ahead and go through those. Tofu tacos. Now I want to go create an account just to give this stream a dislike. What? What? Why, over tofu tacos? Come on, cooking robot. This crap is not exactly new. Yep. Okay, let's see. That's lazy. I'll just hit up Taco Bell. Yeah, I was debating. Taco Bell was on the potential list. I didn't have enough time. Didn't have enough time today to cook dinner, so I was like, I'll just go and eat out. And Taco Bell was on that list, but I went for a burger instead. So there you have it. All right. Speaking of, should probably figure out how I'm going to do all the prep work this week and keep stuff fresh. Save me so much time. I'll tell you what, one of the best things is get a food saver. Yeah, one of these bad boys right here. You can buy them at Walmart, Target, whatever else. When I first moved into the van, I was throwing away so much food from just waste. Just couldn't use food fast enough. I couldn't buy a small enough amount of chicken. Couldn't buy, it's basically just things would go to waste. And so I bought the food saver, and when you vacuum seal chicken in the food saver and meat, just anything, I can easily last 10 days before it goes bad vacuum sealing it, which has completely cut out every bit of food waste. So that is the best thing you can do if you're doing like a lot of food prep stuff and things like that. All right. Jump on over. We got 15 watching on Rumble. Not a whole lot. Google reinstalled back in Pixel 8a phone. Oh, you know what? You know what, Dan? Try an older Pixel. Fresh Vintage bought an 8a. He hates it. Your problem might actually be the Pixel 8a. Fresh Vintage, be warned. Let me know if that 8a works with graphene, because Dan's been having a huge problem with it. Dan, if Fresh Vintage has been talking about putting graphene on the 8a, I'll let you know how it goes. Let's see. Still says 9 over there. Still, I don't. Okay, hold on. I think our Odyssey chat got stuck. 9 currently watching. Maybe not. Oh, we had no activity on Odyssey today, apparently. Okay. We got 62 watching on Zatubies. What was our peak today? It looks like our peak today was 74. Not too bad for regrowing the live part of the show. Anyway, back to our YouTube comments. What do you do if the SSH is disabled on the WordPress server and you cannot remotely connect to the server that is somewhere else? I've never logged into a WordPress server with SSH. I generally have used cPanels or things like that, and I generally don't do a lot of development in SSH. I find it a little bit too clunky. I use a GUI and I use FileZilla. Own what you own. Oh, but if you do find yourself in that case, you need the SSH, just get into the server and enable SSH if there's another way in. Own what you own. There you go. Bobby Baloney. Ma Balona. I want to replace all the healthcare insurance with AI. I've been having nothing but issues the last 6 months. It's all human error. Oh dear. Not sure. AI's just going to tell you to go to Canada and join maids. Get a digital watch, you won't get charged premium, and your permanent clock assistant. There you go. I had on my Schema watch with my time sidekick and not a smartwatch. There you go. Whoop looks like a scam. Sounds like the name of a secret agent company and totally spies. Puked. Ashton Kutcher walks in. Ew. Oh, punked. All right. Indeed, playing a board game Monopoly. Roll the dice, make the next move. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. There you go. Would you like to draw a card to get out of jail? Take your subscriptions away. There you go. Worry about playing ahead more than a month, considering how these companies gobble each other up. Yep. Like, I'll go a year when I need some weird service that's out there. I'll do like a year. As long, of course, as I have cash to do it. I generally figure within a year, even if there's a buyout of some form, they'll at least honor a year. If it's like more than that, I wouldn't expect that to be honored that much longer. Snake Eyes, back to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect. There you go. Play too much Monopoly there, Subdue Light. Hello, Juan. Greetings to you. Oh, man. YouTube comments just did that thing again. Oh, man. All right. Oh, this must be the very, very beginning. Oh, this kind of starts in earlier. Let's see. You have missed SillyVille yet, so you're good. Yep. Oh, I haven't missed SillyVille yet. Yep. Really here for SillyVille some weeks. There you go. Yeah. Actually, ionized water will allow electronics to work without being damaged. Data centers use it for cooling. Yeah, I mean, it depends. There's a number of things it depends on, but it has to be a certain type of water and a certain type of conditioning. If you just do, like, if you were to dip something in purely distilled water, the impact on a circuit board is not nearly as bad as if it dips in, like, ocean water because of the ability to transfer the current. So if you have a certain type of circuit board that is designed for a certain form of cooling or some setup which is designed for a water-based cooling, it's just fine, and the ionization can help in some elements. But when you're talking about putting circuitry inside of water, if current's going through it, the problem with dipping it in, the more saline, the more ionized the water is, the easier electricity is conducted, and you basically are electrifying all circuits simultaneously or distributing power to all circuits simultaneously, which is exactly what destroys electronics. So really, if you're going to spill any form of water on your electronics, make sure it's completely distilled or non-ionized water, like RO, distilled, something like that. Even that, I wouldn't do it. It's still bad. But I think what you're talking about, though, is certain types of servers that are built for that. When will Congress pass a bill to ensure there's AI safeguards to protect jobs? They won't. Last band was listening to Nightwash. I think they might be around. Meanwhile, I'm now thinking about Final Destination 6. Yeah, I'm yet to watch it, but from what I've heard, never beat your heroes. They'll seem pretty cool guy to go hang out with. Perhaps your viewers will meet you at a Linux event someday. Well, you know, I've hung out with a lot of folks. Let's see. I know Fresh Vintage. He's been a longtime friend. I've met the Anchorage for dinner. Who else over here? I met a number of folks. Call me crazy for AI, listening to your conversations. Yep. iRobot, Alan Parsons Project. Ooh, Alan Parsons Project's really good. I only listened to a couple of their albums. I should listen to more because I really like the ones I've heard. I finally did it after dual booting 7 years. I made Windows disappear. It's gone. Nice. Good job. All right. Wow, just read up about the whole Proton Mail thing on Yahoo. Glad I don't live there. Used to be big into music, but I agree, more trash now. Remember the 90s, etc. Yep. Devil wants to know what you're doing. Yep. Let's see. Flash a Linux router software onto the router to replace the manufacturer one. You can't do that with every piece of software. Only certain routers can handle that. Switch my WoW account to the Steam account. Proton Mail, didn't regret making the decision. Yep. Figure out what games clients have my Gmail and then plan on switching them over to my Proton account too. Nice. Missed the router story. What company router? You know, the story did not actually list what company routers it was. Let me see if I can find that again real quick. Copy that. Paste and go. All right, so the article here just says vulnerable models E1000, E2500, E1000, E4200. There's WRT. I'm guessing, like, at least the E models I know are Linksys. I think they're Linksys. I'm not sure about all of them, though. They might all be Linksys routers. But it didn't actually specify the brands, but that's what they are. Let's see. Raspberry Pi router. Yeah, I think I want to look into that. I might need some extra hardware, so I should buy it and have it on hand. You can flash DDWRT onto your link. I don't think it can. When I looked at the stats before, I don't think it's currently supported. Tom McDonald, conspiracy music. I heard Raspberry Pi was pretty good, and some people making consoles out of them. Yeah, I know you can do a router out of a Pi, but you need extra ports. That's what I need to figure out. I guess what I can do is I can use my USB to Ethernet for my second port. Use the onboard port for the input. Use the Ethernet to USB. USB to Ethernet as the output port. Run that through my network switch and reroute everything through the network switch for a while. I could probably do something like that. That might work. I'll have to investigate that. Imagine Bill Gates running and yelling and flailing his arms, desperately trying to run from rogue robo-taxis. That'd be awesome. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think some handheld consoles that run off emulation uses Raspberry Pi. Yes, that is true. In fact, many of them were filled with the same allegedly illegal ROMs that Nintendo was shutting people down for allowing to download. Nintendo had downloaded them themselves and used their own pirated ROMs to sell people their product. Pi-Fi. Yeah, I don't want it a Wi-Fi router. It has to be an Ethernet port router. Remember, I don't use Wi-Fi in the van outside of the tablets and phones. I don't use Wi-Fi around here. Everything's got to tie into my network switch. But the good news is I do have an 8-port network switch available as well. So, but I'll look into that. And I actually have videos on both directions with the Raspberry Pi stuff on my channel. So, let's see. Apple Big Brother, Curl versus Johnny Cab. Definitely buy the tickets. Handhelds look cool. Main thing I'd like to improve is the easily replaceable batteries. Yeah. Only game to kill some time, to go for a walk, listen to some tunes. Yep. If nobody has a job, then why have AI bots run a business? No one will have money to buy anything. Wouldn't AI bots become useless? Yeah, I think so. That's a very valid point that I think is very true. Like, what is the purpose of all this stuff? Is it to sell products that nobody can buy? AI wife constantly nagging. You did not bring up the garbage yet. You're a robot. Do it yourself. Nonsensical nagging. Uh-oh. Good wives don't nag. Feminists do. Oh, boy. Need more Crazy Crash video content. There you go. I just want to know for sure, distracted driving should see how many of them glue their faces to their phones. Yeah. I saw, it might have been on Zeducation today or somewhere else. I saw a video of a police car, and the guy in the police car was watching a basketball game on the police screen. Oh, dear. Defeats the purpose of eating a taco without having meat in them. Yep. Woke vegan tacos. Yuck. I know, right? Anchorage, though, wants a taco. As long as you get a taco with meat in it, I'm good with that. Don't be out buying tofu tacos. I might withdraw your banhammer if I find you eating vegan tacos. I want to move on from here when I die. Eternal recall electronically suggests imprisonment, i.e. hell. Yes. Newer games tend to be online player focused, too expensive to play just for a few hours. Yeah. Newer games are just movies where you hit the X button every 5 minutes. Yep. Rename AI to data scraping. There you go. You speak to an AI after 5 minutes, you are bored. Yeah. Have a conversation with AI that didn't end with screw this, I'll do it myself. Look great today. You're a happy person who spreads joy feelings for people around you. Why, thank you. Do I look great today? I thought I looked a little scruffy today, but oh well. I'm really thinking right now the beard is starting to annoy me. I either have to trim it down or shave it off. It's getting to be that time, folks. It is getting really annoying, especially it's hot and sticky right now, and it's just like I feel it. Oh, I don't know. Babyface could return soon. Who knows? Use a mouse and keyboard only if you want. 1984. Instaport. Oh, Instapot 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. 2.0. You know what I'm thinking of? More dishes to watch. Yeah, now somebody's got to wash all those containers you just did, and all you did is cut it and put it. It was just for the meme, nothing else. Look at my cool new thing that I spent $100 on. It's AI connected and internet connected, which means it'll stop working in about 6 months, or it'll be hacked to become part of a botnet. Recursive search algorithm with filters, no reasoning involved. Yep. Slop 1984, AI slop. Early 1980s, when the microwave oven was new, the marketing tried to convince us that we were good for cooking anything just like a conventional oven. Microwave cookbooks and everything. Yep. Tom, that is one of the Lego bricks of all times. Yep. Modern art is garbage. Yeah, okay. Sad thing is we're heading towards that type of society. Dead internet theory confirmed. Amen to that. Growing up, we were told flying cars, hover trains. However, yeah, now we have robotic robo taxis that crash into chains and gates. Something went drastically wrong. All right. Tried to like Nokia Windows Phone 2. It's a shame. Gave up on the market. Yeah. Isn't the entire point of Lego to be imaginative? Come on. Don't forget, feed your Lego kitties at the end of the show. That's right. I don't know what I'll be feeding there. I don't know where the mouth is. I think Windows phones were better designed than Android phones and iPhones. Replaceable backplate, headphone jack, UI were better too. Yeah, I mean, they just couldn't get the third-party support. That's right. More concerned about no spices, no meat, no chocolate, no rubber. All right. There's a chatbot called Wing GPT for Windows 3.1. Nice. Okay. It isn't not to mention we are in the Skynet age. Yep. Let's go, Brandon. There you go. Have to talk to the machine in a robotic detailed question. There you go. Okay. Robot not holding back any punchies. Yep. Just get to the punch. Oh, get to the bridge. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Didn't Magento renovate the Golden Gate Bridge? Magneto? I have no idea. Maybe they think jumping off the bridge will enter heaven. AI never said so. Yeah. The AI never said to know Jesus to help not anyone's life. Yeah. Know Jesus. Have eternal life. Don't end it sooner. Remember, kids, use glue to hold your pizza toppings on. That's right. Light fragrance of petrol on your pasta. Well, if you have a gas stove, you're going to literally combust it. Electric stove, you will possibly explode it. Yeah. Go home, AI. You're drunk. Yep. Okay, now imagine this defensive computer networks. That's right. Sir, we figured out the problem with all these Russians. Just drop the bomb on them. That's AI for you. Okay. Ooh, a different camera. That's right. Heck, just fed my cats some treats. It's like a Gato Fiesta. Yep. Sponsored by Temptations. There you go. There's an eye on the dollar bill above the pyramid. Just saying. Yep. Illuminati confirmed. My theory why AI sometimes randomly speeds up funny BS. It's being trained from human communications how to communicate like humans. Yeah. Not Master Chief. Master Chef. There you go. AI, having not lived the human experience, struggles to understand and therefore struggles to emulate real human BS behavior. Yep. Older Pixel phones are the best phones. Yep. Cheap RV Living, great channel if you have not checked out Cheap RV Living. And what's cool about them is they're not just like, hey, how to live on the road. They really target their market towards people who are forced to live in their vehicle because their income is just gone, like they've lost their jobs, they've lost their houses, and they do a lot of really good things teaching people how to safely live in a vehicle. They have a not-for-profit organization called Homes on Wheels Alliance, which actually gives out vehicles, resources, tools, supplies, food to people who are forced to live in a vehicle. I've been to some of their conventions out in Quartzsite. The Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, RTR, based in Quartzsite, is a really fun place to go to if you're ever a van dweller out in Quartzsite in January. Awesome place. I hope to get to it next year. Yeah, Cheap RV Living is a great channel. Met Bob too. So, freeze-dried chicken and beef Lassen, definitely pepper food. Yep. Overall, like the Pixel 8a. All right. Good channel. Well, thank you, Donald Peslick. We are live on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. We will possibly add some more live in the future too. Robot that cooks food. It's called the slow cooker. There you go. Let's see. Oh, YouTube did the thing to me again. You have any good videos on bottles? What kind of bottles? I don't know. Let's see. X screensaver no longer works like it used to. Thanks, Google. Yep. Rip Skype. But that happened when Microsoft bought it. Yeah, pretty much. Camfrog to replace Skype. There you go. Checked out some phones I wanted to use, but figured out it was locked, never using locked phones again. Now I make sure to buy unlocked ones. Yep. Thanks for reviewing the list of routers. No problem. On the lady who was killed at the gangbangers for 13, 14, 15-year-olds might be tried as adults, could get death penalties. Yeah, I think I heard about that story, but I'm not recalling it off the top of my head. Convert to DVD Pro for free. Let's see. Still skimming for Raspberry Pi consoles for retro gaming. Maxon does pretty good job. I mean, I just do a Raspberry Pi and grab RetroPie. Okay. If they made a Raspberry, there was somebody actually did build a prototype Raspberry Pi smartphone. It's pretty big and bulky though, so it's kind of like the old car phones. Interesting how vegans want to make their food taste like meat. I know, right? I'm sorry, but vegan chicken broth should be banned. I'll eat a meatless taco if I feel like it. Fight me. Well, Neil, you're not a mod though, so you're okay. You're allowed to. All right. Dye the beard fiery red. There, baby face will remind me of Jeepers Creepers. Trim the beard away. Don't get rid of it. You'll always seem to regret it when you get taken off. Well, I don't know. I kind of like shaving it all off again and then keeping it shaved for like 6 months and then growing it back again later. But I'm going to see if I can trim it. If I can trim it, get it more comfortable, I'll keep it. If I start trimming it and it's like turns into a giant mess, I'm shaving it off. How Homes on Wheels Alliance. Yep. My dream. I'm in Section 8 apartments. Well, Donald, I mean, watch the channel, listen to some of the things they do. They do have some great ideas. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could, if you're in that type of need, you could reach out to them and see what it would take to get on the list to get some help getting a vehicle if you need one. I have 3 clients at work who live together. They bought an 80s Toyota truck camper. They're fixing it up to go camping. Absolutely, man. Awesome. Yeah, I actually just got I got my other box of toys today. I got my exhaust pipe. Yeah. I can fix my heater. Hopefully that's the last part I need. If I have to order one more bulk of things from Amazon, I might go insane. Although I should probably get that thing on there quickly and test it all out, because if I do have to order it, it's got to be in the next couple of days, because I got to head on up to Erie in June for some conferences. So, all right, let's see. Dream of Fedora KDE Plasmid Android phone. There you go. Anyone who wants a meaty taco, have one. Anyone who wants a meatless taco, have one. Another personalization. I know, Neil. That's fine. I'm just making fun. Just making fun. All right. I want to install Zorin OS. There you go. Zorin OS is good. I have a friend Commodore. I wasn't sleeping, not playing my WW 2K 2.5. I have no idea. Nowadays, Gravisites are emitting Bluetooth signals. Windows Phone, perhaps? There you go. Do you know how to make and sell digital goods online? So what are you making? I'm using eShop, which manages it well. If you're looking like open source type stuff, like the problem I'm having with eShop is it's Singapore, so my bank is now blocking Singapore transactions. I have to call my bank and have them unblock Singapore when I need to buy something again from them. And there are some complexities that are a little bit issues, but it does support online digital goods sales. WooCommerce also does a good job. That's all, of course, open sourced through WordPress. And Automatic, and I've had good luck with them as well. So those are good options in order to sell them. But what are you making, I guess? Courses, ebooks, things like that. I mean, there's a number of things you can do. I hope you don't need that heater for a while. Oh, no, I do not need the heater for a while. But if you missed the saga on the heater, the last night it got into the 20s here, I go to turn it on and I'm like, E03. Oh, crap. What's E03? Glow plug didn't work. And so I pulled so I look at it like, looks like I just need a new glow plug. Had to order a glow plug, took a week to get in. So I'm like, well, I've never serviced the heater at all. It's a Chinese knockoff Westabo. So I pulled the heater out, disassembled the whole thing, cleaned it, and it was in impeccably good shape. But the glow plug definitely needed replaced, or at least cleaned off. So I swapped out the glow plug, swapped out put in new gaskets, put it all back together, and put it back on, turn it on, and I'm smelling diesel fuel inside it. I'm like, oh, either the gaskets they gave me were bad, or there's something else going wrong, or I didn't have the exhaust up, because one of the things that I couldn't get the line tightened up, because you need the very obscure 9/32 wrench for that thing. Couldn't find one, so I ordered a 9/32 wrench on Amazon. Just a single little wrench, just so I can manage those stupid hose clamps. So I'm like, what's going on? I tested the heater a couple more times, and got to the point where I wasn't smelling the diesel fuel inside. So I was like, oh, it must have fixed itself. Maybe it was the gaskets needed to melt together or something weird. I don't know. So let it go. But I looked down, I'm like, I see some smoke, and it had been smelling plastic this year. So while I was inspecting everything with it running, I see smoke coming up from where the exhaust goes through the floor, and it's starting to melt the floor around it. Like, oh, well, that's not good. So the insulation is given out. So I go to okay, insulation, let's just go buy more. Wouldn't you know it? I cannot find any high temperature insulation in any local store anymore. Here's all these stores. We hate these online stores and all the blah, blah, blah. Well, have crap in stock. I bought it from Home Depot, but you don't have high heat insulation anymore. So I had to go online, order high heat ceramic insulation, once again from Amazon, wait another week. Insulation comes in, like, great. I got time. Let's go ahead and swap out the insulation. We'll cram the new insulation up there. I go pull the old insulation off. The problem is the insulation had absorbed water, held it close to the exhaust pipe, and the exhaust pipe was leaking, which is probably the source of diesel exhaust inside the van. Enter new exhaust pipe. So I got my new exhaust pipe. And soon I will be swapping that new exhaust pipe over, tightening everything down. I actually have some muffler sealant as well, so we're going to do that in there and do a real good cleanup job on everything else, run new ceramic insulation through the floorboards, get everything all set up, and then it's going to be way too hot to test it. But I'll test it anyway because I just need to know that it all works. And while I've been doing this, I've actually been buying all of the spare replacement parts. So when things go bad again, I don't have to wait to get all the parts, except maybe I should have ordered a second one of these maybe, but I didn't. In fact, I might actually have more of this in my storage unit. I'll have to look when I go up to Erie next. I'll have to look to see if I have more stuff up there. So that is the saga of my heater. No, I don't need it right now, but it's good to get it all serviced, all tested, all maintenanced, all that kind of stuff. Good to take care of all of that right now. Well, it is summer and I don't need it because I got to say that heater did work this year. Because I was down camping through Alabama when it was down to like 18 degrees for several weeks. That heater worked daily and it did a great job. I gotta say, you know, it's been a struggle to get all the parts I need to fix the heater, but I gotta say I cannot sit here and be like, this heater sucks, because that Chinese knockoff heater I paid $170 for it has given me zero problems in 4 whole years with no maintenance at all. So I probably should have maintained it a while ago, honestly. So the fact that I had to disassemble it, add new gaskets, add a new glow plug, add a new exhaust pipe after 4 years, and the glow plugs are $10. I did buy an extra fuel pump in case that goes bad. It didn't go bad. Filters were $7. The fuel pump was $10. The exhaust line was $10. Like, I just spent $50 to get the heater back to new again. And it works right now. It's just spewing exhaust inside. So, that was cool. But yeah, I don't need it right now, but good to get it all fixed while I don't need it. I mean, because I got to say, if I needed it right now, oh, it'd be a struggle. Let's see. Exhaust pipe looks like it'd be a great hash ball smoke. Yeah, probably would. Had with Stabo heaters and big rigs, good units. Yeah, they are nice. They're super pricey though. Salsa's working great for me, except the brother scanner. Got my mother for Mother's Day. Had to get her a Manjaro Gnome so she can scan her photos. BR Scan 5 for brother. Go Manjaro or Minty. You know what other distro? MX Linux. I don't think you're going to have to install anything. MX Linux has worked with every scanner I've ever thrown at it. Heater might be all that, but it's not almighty. Nope, it's not almighty, that's for sure. All right, let me check in final spots. Ivan is still lonely over there on Odyssey. Billy Sherman's over there on Rumble. I wish you knew you were in Alabama. Yeah, I was in Alabama, so I went down through Athens, and I followed the I-corridor kind of straight down into Pensacola. So that's where I was at in Alabama this last year. And I don't know, I mean, I will probably, next year, I will probably travel back through Alabama. I might do it on the coast. So, I don't know. And let me check one more final place, and I think we are just about to wrap up the news. See if there's anything else going on over here on Matrix. And I don't think there is. Just a little bit. Going to tell you to go to Canada and join MAID. Hell no. Don't want to wait 10 years for MAID. Oh, no. They'll get the MAID way quicker because, you know, MAID means that they don't have to pay anything for you anymore. There you go. If you're unfamiliar with MAID, guys, it stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. It's literally like, in fact, there was a great meme on our Matrix channel, in fact, the other day about that. I forget, it was something minor, like foot surgery. America, that'll be $15,000, please. Was it UK? That'll be an 18-month wait, please. Canada, have you considered dying? Athens, Georgia used to be some of my stomping grounds, like the 40 Watt Club, yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, I've been through Athens, Georgia. Yeah, I've been down there. Arrived just in time for the ending. Yes, you did, Stacy. I'm sorry. Yeah, we started at 8 today. Went through a lot of fun comments, a lot of fun discussion, things like that. I guess maybe it's, well, before we jump off, I will include this in videos in the next couple of weeks. We'll start using this. Let me tell you briefly why I went with the 1 key. Now, the downside of the 1 key is this has the capacity to store 25 passkeys, whereas the YubiKey 5 can support 32. So fewer passkeys on this. This one, though, has several advantages. Number one, what is considered a downside for security keys, this one does not support NFC or Bluetooth. I call that an upside because I don't use those technologies, and I think they have a unnecessary vulnerability. So I don't like those. So I like it for that. This one here explicitly supports Linux. The software, if you want to manage this key, is available for Linux as well. So you can download it. It works with Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Apple, Windows, and Linux. It supports unlimited TOTP, so you can use it for your two-factor authentication. Like I said, 25 passkeys, but it also has a pin. So there's 4 things on there. It has a pin. This key is attached to a pin. So you plug it in, you need to enter a pin before you can use it. So that's the only one I know of that has the pin. Additionally, so you don't have to buy 2 of these. You can actually make a backup of all of the data and store a secure encrypted backup. So if something goes wrong with your key, you can buy another one and import your backup into this key. So that's why I went with the only key. If you are looking for a passkey TOTP multi-factor authenticator chip, this one might be the best one that I've seen. So we'll stay tuned for more videos on that one in the future, but we'll see what happens there. Like NFC for things like gas pumps, also have JLab Bluetooth hearing aids. Yeah, so if you do need those, of course, almost all the brands have those. I almost bought a second key as well just to test a couple of them, but after I was doing research, it was a Chinese-based key. All the documentation looked like a cheap Chinese crap product, and I just didn't have confidence in it. So I was like, not doing that one. They were cheap. That was the only good thing about them. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up from here. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all